Hello. Happy Monday. Welcome to our August 2026 Friends and Fiction Official Book Club meeting. And we are super excited because we have one of the Fab Four, our fabulous, beloved Kristin Harmel, joining us tonight to discuss this masterpiece that we have all been gushing over. So, for our new members, welcome. I'm Lisa Harrison, and I'm with my co-host, Brenda, who looks
Hello.
lovely tonight.
Thank you. As do you.
Thanks. And we are so excited. So I'm going to be quiet and let Brenda introduce our wonderful author as if she needs an introduction. But
I know, right? But nonetheless, I will. We are indeed so excited because Kristin Harmel is here tonight to talk about her new novel, Meet Me in Paris. Kristin is the New York Times bestselling, USA Today bestselling, and #1 international bestselling author of The Paris Daughter, The Forest of Vanishing Stars, The Book of Lost Names, The Winemaker's Wife, and a dozen other novels that have been translated into more than 30 languages. Kristin has been writing professionally since the age of 16 when she began her career as a sports writer covering Major League Baseball and NHL hockey for a local magazine in Tampa Bay in the 90s. Her first novel was published in 2006, and her books have been finalists for the Goodreads Choice Award and the Jewish Book Award. After graduating from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communication, she lived in Paris and Los Angeles and now resides in Orlando with her husband and son. She's a breast cancer survivor and, of course, what we know her best for, co-founder and co-host of the popular weekly web show and podcast, Friends and Fiction. So welcome, Kristin.
yay!
Hi. Thanks so much.
Yay!
So,
We're so
Kristin, we are
excited.
especially excited tonight to talk with you because this novel, it was amazing on so many different levels. It broaches themes of loss and love, and along the way a lot of things are found, though maybe perhaps unexpectedly. So in a minute I'd love for you to give us a summary without spoilers for those who are joining us just for that time. And book club members, please be sure to put questions in the chat. And as always, we're spoiler free until 7:15, which I think is going to go very fast. But that leaves us lots of time to talk about Meet Me in Paris. So, Kristin, could you give us a summary?
Yeah, sure. You would think that after a few weeks on tour, like I would have the summary down, but there's like so many storylines happening that it's like
I
this
know.
happens and that happens. But Meet Me in Paris, which is my new novel, it came out just a few weeks ago, um, is a Love Actually inspired novel. So it's very different from what I normally do. Although I really think it has the same heart. Wouldn't you say? Like I feel like the heart of the book is the same, even though it's not historical like most of my books are. There is a
Mm-hmm.
historical storyline, though. It is about 9 Americans in Paris, seven intertwined love stories that all take place in one city of light. So it is 9 Americans that have come to Paris for over the course of a week. Some of them live there. Some of them are trying to make a fresh start there. Some of them are on a final trip. That's one of the characters who has terminal cancer and she's there with her daughter. Some of the characters are on a divorce party. Some of the characters are on a Vietnam veterans tour. There are lots of reasons for being in Paris. One of the characters has lived in Paris for 20 years because she's been married to a Frenchman for 20 years. But these are all 9 Americans in Paris whose lives intersect and intertwine as they all go on their individual journeys, which center around love, but I think also center around embracing who they are as people, embracing their own abilities to build a better future for themselves and not have it just handed to them. And it's 9 people asking, what do I want? And what's the next step to find that thing? So that was not the best description, but it is in the style of Love Actually, the movie Love Actually, which is what made me want to write this book. I've always wanted to write a Love Actually inspired love story because I think that Love Actually is brilliant. Like the way that it's assembled, the way that those stories are woven together, and the way they all are separate but feel like part of part of something that stirs your soul like as a whole. I think it's like a masterclass in storytelling. So this was a challenge I set out to accomplish. I wanted to tell a story in that style, and whether you like it or not, I did it.
And you did it well. It was
Masterfully.
so good. It was
Thank
so just,
you.
but it had that Kristen Harmel that we love. Like you
Thank
have
you.
such a rich style of writing, and it was so you, even though it was different because it was contemporary, but it just goes to like you can do anything. Like
Oh, that's so sweet.
you're
Thank you.
amazing. Like
You.
yeah.
Well,
So
I feel like that was part of the challenge I set out to do though. Like every book I write, I like to challenge myself to do something that's outside of my comfort zone. And this was very much outside of my comfort zone structurally. And it had been, what, 12 years since I'd written a contemporary novel. The last one was The Life Intended, which came
yeah.
at the end of 2014. So, um,
Wow.
it was an uneasy experience for me because it was something new, but I think that's how you grow. That's how you grow as a person. That's how
Yeah,
you grow as a writer, you know?
for sure. So, before I ask my first question, I just wanted to thank you for giving us a shout out in the acknowledgments. It
There's
Yes,
always
thank you
means
so
so
much.
much
always.
to us. And you have been on an amazing book tour. So, can you tell us some of the highlights of book tour?
This book tour was like no book tour I've ever been on before. I mean, I've had some really great book tours, but this just felt, I can't even explain why. It just felt next level. Like almost every event was sold out, including, and I feel like this was kind of special, including places I had never been before on book tours. So, when we planned this tour, which to begin with was a little bit abbreviated, like normally I go on tour for 2 weeks. This one was only a week and 2 days because my son started
Yes.
grade and I wanted to be back in time for Meet the Teacher. So my last book tour event was on a Wednesday night in Orlando, which is where I live, and he had Meet the Teacher at 11 a.m. the next day. So it was really important to me to be there for that. So it was a shorter than usual book tour. And I was especially uneasy because it included Parnassus and Nashville where I'd never toured. It included
Mhm.
Scottsdale and Tucson where I'd never toured, and it included Denver where I'd never toured. Um, and all of those places were big, amazing sellout crowds. Like they all were. And it was awesome. So I got to see a lot of old friends on the road. I got to see a lot of new friends, experience some new cities, experience some 120-degree heat in Scottsdale. And our producer, Sean, if you watch Friends in Fiction, you all know Sean, who's been our producer.
Yes.
And he actually even took a road trip and came to the Tucson event. So I got to hang out with Sean.
Yay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome. He had a few days where he didn't have his kids and he was like, "You know what? I have a friend in Tucson. Kristen's going to be in Tucson. I'll just go." And so that was super fun too. So it was great. It was great. I got to hang out with my husband's grandparents in St. Louis. They're 90 and 91. So we get to go to
Oh,
and then they came to
Oh,
the event. I get to see some author friends on the road. It was just all great. It was a great tour. And most importantly, I packed for a 9-day, 11 event tour, all in a carry-on.
what?
wow. Most
Told you
amazing
you
of
could do.
all.
I knew you could do anything. You can do anything. That's
No,
amazing.
I actually had to check the carry-on for the first couple of days because I could not physically lift it until I like mailed some of the stuff home, but it all fit.
That's
Probably not the
funny.
best time for me to take a sip, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably not. I love it. Well, I hope lots of people that are watching and who watch Friends in Fiction got to see you on that tour.
I saw so many Friends and Fiction members, so many people who are part of our family, so many people who are from the book club, so many people who are from the
yay.
group. It's so great to show up to events and feel like you already have a built-in friend group there. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like that's what this is. It's like just a big group of
It
friends
is.
to read together, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amber in the chat, Amber said, was it a Harry Potter carry on?
Exactly. No, it was from Quince, which I buy everything from Quince. And it was like I would have to sit on it and like condense it, but it all worked. So,
I love it.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I would love to ask you a kind of a follow-up question to your summary, Kristen.
yeah.
You mentioned that the story follows nine Americans whose stories are intertwined in possibly the world's most romantic city in Paris. And Paris really feels like another character in the novel. So it's two-parter, one question for you, one question for our book club members. So the
Okay.
question for you is, what does Paris allow you to do as a storyteller that another city couldn't? And for book club members, if you were going to write an ode to a city you love, what would it be and why?
That's a good question.
Ooh.
For me, Paris is the city that changed my life. I mean, you may have noticed if you've been reading me for any amount of time that I keep writing about Paris. And it's not even that I intend book after book to keep coming back to Paris. It's that Paris kind of wormed its way into my heart and it still has a piece of me. It has a piece of my heart, it has a piece of my soul. You may have heard me say before, I lived in Paris briefly in my early 20s. It was where I started writing my first book. And it was the time that I lived in Paris was the time that I feel like I really became me. Because there's something about Paris that teaches you to stop and smell the roses, to stop competing for the next biggest thing, to just say, like, what do I want out of life and how do I enjoy it? And so for me, 25 or so years ago, maybe more than that. No, 25 or so years ago. Like, how old am I? 25-ish years ago, Paris was a reset for me that set my life in a completely different direction. And I feel like it was a very natural thing to write about Paris being that same kind of reset for these nine Americans, each of whom is looking for something, even though at the beginning of the novel, many of them don't know that their lives are incomplete or that they are searching for a better way forward. But that's what it was for me, as it is for many of these characters.
Oh, well, there's a little bit of a delay, so people are starting to get their answers in for the
Okay, good.
ode.
What are people
Brenda, do you
saying?
have a city for you that you would?
Oh, I was not thinking about that. Um,
It's tough.
I I'm not all that well traveled, so I'm gonna pass on to Lisa. How about you?
Well, mine is I've been some places, but I think for me it would be my hometown of Chicago because I
Hmm.
don't get to go back as much. And there's so much going on with that city and the way that things have been going there. There's been a lot of crime, and it's just the way that things are. It makes me sad to see it. And I would love to bring that love, the Chicago I grew up back. That would be mine, I think. Um,
It's kind of amazing how different places, though, can evoke different things, and I think can like
mm,
pull at different parts of you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you're probably a little bit of a different person in Chicago than you are in Atlanta, right? I mean, it's just
yeah,
you're still you, but like it unlocks different pieces of you, I feel like, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Lisette
Ab-
says hers is Havana. Maria says, oh, I'm gonna say this wrong. I apologize in advance. Mola de Bari, Italy.
Oh, wow.
And Michelle Marcus says Venice.
Oh, I love
So
Venice. It's a great city
we've
too.
got some well-traveled members in the chat.
It's funny. We've been talking about turning Meet Me in Paris into a television series with the idea, which is cool. I mean, we'll see if it comes to fruition, but the idea would be that the first season would be Meet Me in Paris, and then like the second season would be Meet Me in fill in the blank. Like half the characters would be
Yeah.
gone. But one of the cities we had in mind was Venice. So that's, I mean, I feel like that is a really magical city that brings different pieces of you to the surface too, the same way that I think Paris does.
Oh, you could
That's
do so much with
awesome.
that. That's
Yeah, and it would
amazing.
be
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, like every year you get to just choose where are we going next.
Yeah. Just a few more. Leslie says Lexington, Kentucky, and Brenda Gaskell says Kansas City, Missouri.
Nice. Nice, nice.
So
Well, I love Lexington, Kentucky. It's a great place.
I know we got some great places.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And actually, I'm going to turn the conversation a little bit because we have a surprise guest for you tonight, Kristen.
A little
And
special
I
book
would
club
love to
member.
introduce to you, well, to our readers, Colleen Oakley, USA Today best-selling author. And she has a new book coming out next year, and I'm sure that she will tell us about it. I'm so excited.
I
Okay, so one of the worst parts of the book tour was that I didn't get to go to Atlanta this year, so I didn't get to see
Oh,
I didn't get to see Colleen. So I'm so
Yeah.
happy to see you.
So glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Oh, I'm so happy you're here.
Yay.
welcome, Colleen.
Colleen, have your kids have gone back to school, right?
Yes, we go back so early. So they went back August 1st or 3rd, something crazy. It's very early down
That
here.
is crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Right in
congrats
the
on
middle
the
of the
book,
heat.
Kristen.
Oh, thank you, Colleen. Thank you so much.
I know everyone here loves it as much as I do. And can I just jump right in with my question? Is that
Certainly.
Sure.
what we're doing? Okay. Okay. So I know it's been, it's not your first foray into contemporary, but it's been a minute
It
since you've
has been
read
a
a
minute.
contemporary novel. So my question is your writing process any different as you approached this book? And then it's kind of like a double question. So I also want to know what's harder for you in writing a contemporary novel versus a historical one, and then what's easier.
Well, that's such a good question. And yeah, the writing process is different, but I think specifically for this book, it was really different because it's so many storylines to
Yeah.
juggle. And when I started, so I'm a big outliner. Do you outline, Colleen? Are you a big outliner?
Oh, I'm a
You
pantser.
don't. You say you're a
I say that
pantser.
in shame. I'm a pantser.
How about Lisa? How about you? When you write, do you outline or no?
I do a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
I've learned that I need to. Since
Okay.
I'm still trying to finish book one, if I ever do book two, I will do a very detailed outline because I think, yeah.
That's how I am. I'm a big outliner. And so I had an outline for this book. I knew the stories, like I knew how it was going to kind of come together. And I started writing it. So I when I have the outline, I just write from start to finish. You know, like sometimes when people have multiple storylines, they write a storyline at a time and then weave them together. I've never done that. I always write from like start to finish in the book. So I was writing from start to finish and I was like, this isn't working. Like what I thought worked on the outline in the outline stage, like the weaving didn't feel natural. Like the stories didn't feel like they were mixing in with each other the way that I wanted them to. And so I actually went back to the drawing board and I printed out the script for the movie Love Actually. And I outlined the script for Love Actually, like just to see how each of the stories was woven together, like how
Mhm.
much space was dedicated to each one, like when they intertwined, like all of that, because I wanted to understand the mechanics of it, because I think it's such a brilliantly told story, and I kind of worked backward from that. But I think this kind of answers like the first and second part of your question a little bit, Colleen. In general, in terms of plotting this, when I plot a book, usually so much of the plotting is driven by the research.
Mhm.
So I have like a general idea of what I want to tell the story about. And then I dive into the research and I can feel the story threads kind of weaving themselves together as I research. Like the more and more I read, the more and more I'm like, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And now I have a better sense of this character and all of that. And with a contemporary novel, you don't have that. I mean, there is research, but it's not the same volume of research.
Mhm.
And so it required a lot more creativity, I think, that came out of my brain rather than out of like the research that I had to do. So it was really different and it was a challenge, but I think overall challenging myself with that maybe made me a better writer. I don't know.
That's
Yeah. Colleen,
Okay.
tell us about your new book and when it's coming out.
Well, it's so funny because while you dipped your toe back into contemporary, I am dipping my toe for the first time into historical fiction.
I hope I'm on your blurb list. I cannot wait to read this.
Right. Well,
Tell
you'll be getting a copy soon then. Careful what you wish for. So it comes out in
Well,
February.
might I add, I'm technically closed to blurbs at the moment. So like you could be soliciting things that like I don't have time for, but I will always have time for you, Colleen.
So yeah, it comes out in February. It is a sweeping kind of epic romance set over 50 years between a world-renowned violinist and a woman who I can't say who and what she is because that's part of the story. And it's set against the backdrop of all the greatest, like iconic pop music moments from the 70s, 80s, 90s,
Oh
and
my
2000.
God. That's so much fun. Oh, Colleen, I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing.
I'm
We're
so
February
so
what?
excited
You
for
know when
that
it comes
one.
out in February?
February 9th.
February 9th. Oh my
February
gosh,
9th.
it's like right around the corner. I know it feels so far away, but it's
Yay.
here like that. That's
Super
awesome.
excited.
It is so good to see you. I'm sad that it's not in person, but I'm hopeful that it
No.
will be in person again soon.
Hope maybe you'll come to
Yeah.
Orlando on book tour.
Maybe.
February, I feel like
Oh,
February book tours are hard. Like you kind
yeah.
of have to tour in the South, right?
Yeah.
Like where it's not
Oh my
snowing.
gosh, that would be
So,
awesome. I will put that on the list.
And
Orlando
the
or
weather will
Tampa.
be better there. The
Yes,
weather will be better in Orlando than.
Yeah.
for sure.
Awesome. Colleen, thank you so much for popping in. It was so good to see you. This made
Yeah,
my
thank
night.
you
Yes,
for
thank
having
you,
me.
Colleen.
So good to see
Thank
you guys.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yay.
February
Oh my gosh, I love her
2027.
so much.
I know. February 9th.
That's and like everything she writes is brilliant. I mean, don't you feel like that? Like I like everything's different. Like, but there's like that Colleen Oakley voice woven
Yes.
throughout all of it, and it's yeah, she's incredible. Like I think she's
Yeah.
such an incredible author.
I love her wit and her dialogue
Oh,
and
she's
just like
so
she's so
smart.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's so
yeah.
smart and she's so funny. I've always wished I did funny better. I don't think I'm not very funny.
I feel like
I
that
would like
people
to do
tell me
funny
I'm
better too.
funny. I
What?
don't think I'm funny.
No.
Ah, oh
So,
goodness. Well, okay. I'm gonna turn the tide a little bit because we one of the most striking things about this book to me is Julia and Piper
Yeah.
and then Julia and Jackson.
Mhm.
So their love story to me was just so heartbreaking because we already knew from the beginning that Julia is dying.
Yeah.
And did you ever think about giving them a different ending, or was it always part of the story from the beginning?
So are we in the spoiler zone now?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry, we didn't
yeah,
make the
Okay.
announcement.
Okay.
we are in
Well,
the spoiler zone.
so I never really thought about giving them a different ending for the book. But as we've been talking about possibly developing it into a television series, we have talked about a different ending for Julia and Jackson. So it's kind of fun to have one ending that will always exist in the book and and the possibility of another ending if we do turn it into a TV show that would allow Julia's and Jackson's story to go on a little longer. And I do want to say you never in the book, as those of you who have finished it know, you don't see the end on the page. Like you just see the happiness she finds at the end before it's the actual end. So like it's not really a sad ending, but I feel like it's a bittersweet ending because like you know what's coming. Um,
Yeah.
Right.
and I think it had to end that way for her. And even if we change it in a potential television show, it'll still ultimately end the same way because unfortunately, pancreatic cancer, which is what Julia has, once it's stage 3 or stage 4, like it's just a question of how much time you have.
Right.
And so, writing her story was really personal to me. I mean, you guys know I had cancer a few years ago. It was not pancreatic cancer, thank God. It was breast cancer. Um, uh, but I think a lot of my fears about leaving, like Julia's path in this novel, or her whole thought process in this novel, a lot of it's about leaving her only child behind. And that was a piece of, I think there's so much of my own fear in that story. So it's really personal to me. But one of the reasons I chose pancreatic cancer is I have a cousin going through that right now who did get a couple of extra years because of a clinical trial. And I think she has reached probably like toward the end of the road. And so
Oh,
and we've known
sorry.
thank you
Sorry to hear
for
that,
that.
Kristin.
We've known
Yeah.
that all along though, that like it wasn't a matter of if she'll live or not. It's a matter of like how much more time she'll
Oh,
get. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, and I think that's life. I think, not all of my books have entirely happy endings because in life you don't always get happy endings, but you can find the joy in the sadness. You can find the peace in the turmoil. Like it's always and I think that's the journey that Julia is on. Like she knows what is coming. Um,
Yeah.
and she thinks her time is up. Um, but it's never too late to kind of write your own happily ever after. And I think she discovers that in the book.
I love that. I
Love
loved
it
that
too.
relationship. I loved her storyline. And I was totally tearing up so many times
Aw,
throughout this book. It was just so beautifully written.
thank you.
But
Thank you.
to for at some point it's always going to come back to the guy
Yeah.
when it comes to me. So circling back to
Yeah,
Jackson, did someone
Lisa.
say Jackson?
Yeah.
He was an awesome rock star. I wanted to be front row. I wanted to hear the music. I loved all of the concert. There was a lot with the concert scene, but for Jackson, who inspired Jackson for you? Was there someone that you kind of mirrored him after, or?
Yeah, not really, because I really try very hard not to ever base characters on real people.
Mhm.
Um, Even indirectly, because I feel like when I do that, it holds me back from sending those characters on the journey I need to send them on. Because if I had said like this is based on, I don't even know, Rob Thomas or something, which it wasn't.
Right,
But like if I'd said that, I think I would have been thinking the whole time, well, what would Rob Thomas do? Like what would he like?
right.
So if he ever reads this, what would he think? I think it just holds you back creatively. So he wasn't anybody real to me. I mean, I'm about the same age as Julia and grew up loving music in the late 90s. And so I can certainly say that there were musical influences that I would think he would have sounded like. I mean, I love, as you all know, I love Sister Hazel. So, like, maybe he sounded a
Yeah,
little bit like Sister Hazel. Maybe he sounded a little bit like Edwin McCain, who I also really liked in that time. To me, like, my favorite era of music was the late 90s. So, like, I loved
same.
I loved, yeah, and I think it's just, our age, right? Like it's like
Yeah,
it like captured a certain period in our lives, right? Um, so maybe the music was influenced by some of that, but Jackson as a person was not based on anyone. And as we've been like talking about like dream casting, the people that have kind of risen to the surface, even though it's not what I was thinking when I was writing it, but like I could see John Stamos playing Jackson Quick. I could see Ewan
I
McGregor playing Jackson
love.
Quick. I could see Hugh Jackman playing Jackson Quick. Like it's that kind of
They would
like,
all be great.
right? But like I feel like it's that kind of like or even Ethan Hawke, like that kind of like good guy with like a
Yeah,
sexy edge
little
energy. You know what I
edge.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo, Kristen,
Yeah.
you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So we have a fun question for book club members. And Kristen, I would love to know what you think of this too. But book club members, what band or singer would you like to see have a comeback tour? And who who would you like to see as their opening act, which takes it a step
Oh,
further?
well,
That's
well,
the hard part for me.
no, that's fair. We'll just schedule in Stephen Kellogg as the opening act for anybody. Although like he could totally headline his own tour. So
Right.
he's a friend of mine. You guys know, like if you watch Friends and Fiction, you know he was part of our Meet Me in Paris launch episode, but then he was also part of the Forest of Vanishing Stars launch episode. I know him through Allison Hammer, who's another writer who writes as one half of Allie Brady. Um,
Yes.
he and I are friends through her, which is awesome. And so I had to put him in the book. So there's like a little like nod to Stephen Kellogg. He's Jackson Quick's opening act. So
I
I will,
love that.
I will
Yes, I've
schedule
noticed that.
so he can be the opening act for whoever, although again, he can open like he can headline his own tour. I would also say that like the opening act would be Memory, which is Sean's band. You know, Sean our
Yeah.
yeah, for Friends and Fiction, his music is so good. But what
Does
90s
he tour?
he doesn't tour. Like he does like it
Okay.
like because he does he collaborates sometimes, but I think this most recent album is like all him. So it's like
Yeah.
him sitting and doing like one track and then like recording the next track and like weaving them all together like he does all the post-production too, I think. But
So
um
talented.
yeah, but I feel like he should tour, right? Um
Yeah.
Absolutely.
he is really talented. But as far as a 90s band I would like to see have a comeback, the 90s bands that I like are still already like they still play and they don't really need a comeback because they're still out there. So, um my favorite band is Sister Hazel. They had
Yeah.
the two huge hits in 97 and 98, All for You and Happy. And then they also had Champagne High and Your Winter and Concede and like just a whole bunch of songs that were amazing. Their concerts are still my favorite. I love going, but they're still always performing and they always sell
Yeah.
out wherever they perform. So, they are not in need of a comeback. I would just love to see them find an even bigger audience. And then the other one, it's not exactly 90s, it's like late 80s, early 90s. My recent new friend, Debbie Gibson, I would love to see her be, I mean, she still also tours. People
Yeah.
also love her, but she's so flippin' talented.
She
Um,
is.
she's so talented. She's such a good
I
songwriter.
would love to see her.
My God, she just left today, I think, to go to Singapore and Australia for a month to tour.
It's
But
amazing.
I would go
I
see
love
Kelly
y'all's
Clarkson.
friendship.
My God, she's so great. Like what a I did not have that on my 2026 bingo card, but here we are.
Brenda, do you have a comeback band?
Well, I'm kind of like Kristen. Most of the bands I would really love to hear again are still playing some of them into their, you know, 70s. And
Like
but Bruce Springsteen is who I have
oh,
always gravitated towards. So I've
you
seen
and
him twice.
you and Meg both,
Um,
right? You and Meg can do
Hmm.
yeah,
concerts together.
yeah.
And Lisette.
Yep.
So yeah,
Um,
so but I mean, other than that, the Eagles are just
Oh yeah.
amazing. Um,
I think my
yeah.
reunion band, and I'm still hoping this happens. There's been whisperings. I would love to see NSYNC reunite and tour
Oh, that would be so great. And
with Justin, of course.
I kind
The
of
full.
feel like with like with the Backstreet Boys, like
Mhm.
killing it at the Sphere in Vegas right now.
Yeah,
I feel like that gives another nod toward like maybe this is
they
something.
could do it.
Oh,
I would love that. And I don't know who I'd want to open for them. That's the one I can't think
that's
of.
a tough one.
But yeah, we've got a couple. So Jeff Summers says Wilson Phillips.
Oh
Oh,
Lisette
that would
yeah.
be good.
also Lisette also said John Bon Jovi.
Oh yeah.
And we've got a Dave Matthews band. They would
Oh,
be great.
yes, for
All
sure.
great. I'd also like to see Boys to Men.
Yeah. Oh, Lisa, you have to come. They usually play at Epcot every year. They usually do a concert at Epcot. They're awesome. I love them. They're one of my favorites to go see live.
I would love to.
Yeah.
That's just another reason I need to come to Orlando.
Come
Joe
visit.
says
Absolutely.
the
I'm gonna
Eagles.
add another to my
Go
list
ahead.
too, Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh, I
Oh
love Hootie
my
and
gosh,
the Blowfish.
Brenda,
Darius
I
Rucker.
have to share this very quickly. In Smyrna, where I live, they do a celebration every year, and they'll bring in some band or somebody, and they just announced yesterday that Darius Rucker is going to be doing it.
That's
Not Hootie
awesome.
and the Blowfish, but it's Hootie.
And then they
Oh,
yeah.
well,
No,
October 3rd.
that's
typically
Okay,
they're all Hootie, but yes.
right.
so Sister Hazel, the band that I really like, they do a charity fundraiser every March called Lyrics for Life. The lead singer's little brother died of leukemia when they were teenagers, of childhood leukemia. And so they raise money. They've raised millions for childhood cancer research. But every March they're in concert. It's always in Gainesville, which is where the band is from, Gainesville, Florida. Um, they do a concert, but then they have a special guest. So this year it was, oh my God, what's the guy who like those flashback videos everyone posts on Instagram?
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking
um,
about?
yeah.
I can't
Oh
think of the,
goodness. I
is it
can't think of the
it's
name.
not the no, it's not the Goo Goo Dolls. Anyways, every year they have somebody major from the 90s.
Mm,
So like it's for like our era of music, it is a dream. Yeah, it's amazing.
so
And
cool.
they always choose somebody great. Yeah.
Love that.
So, Kristen, you have described your novel as being about love, loss, courage, and redemption, which I think is just a beautiful way
Thanks.
to describe it. If you had to choose one of those as the heart of the book, what would it be?
Ooh. I think it would be love, but only because I think love includes all of those things. So love gives you the
Mm,
courage
Hmm.
to get through loss. I think love, um, when you can learn to love yourself, it gives you courage. And when you learn to love yourself, it allows you to love other people and to receive love from like the right people. And I think that goes hand in hand with redemption. So um, it's love, but that's not to the exclusion of the other things. I think that the love is the thing that kind of ties them all together.
Oh, absolutely. And I still remember something from one of Patty's books that has stuck with me. And she said, grief is the price we pay for loving fiercely.
Yeah, that sounds like Patty. That's a great
yeah,
line.
that is a great line.
And but yeah, but you're right. I mean, love transcends all of those things in your novel. I mean, that's it's just part of what makes it so priceless.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So
Lisa, I think
I want to talk about Henry and Celeste.
Henry.
I know.
Henry spent 80 years loving Celeste and believing that she was dead. And then by the time he knew, she had dementia and didn't know him. And at the concert, I mean, I felt like I could feel the bass in my chest. It was
The
so,
vibration.
I feel like I could just feel it. Like it was so well written. I was right there. And that one moment when she recognized the song, it was so beautiful. And just as quickly, she knew him and didn't know how. And it was just beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time.
Thank you.
Um, my question is, if someone you love doesn't remember it, do you think that diminishes their love?
No, because I think those memories are always locked inside. Um, and studies have shown that music can help unlock memories for patients with dementia, which is kind
Yeah.
of what I was exploring with this. Like Henry is convinced that
Mm,
if he can play her these songs, if he can get her to hear this music, that'll take her back 80 years, that she'll remember him. Um, but the problem is he can't sing anymore and she can't hear very well. And like it's like it's a bunch of things. but like you said, you can kind of feel the bass. Like when you're at a concert, like you're not just hearing with your ears, like you're kind of hearing with your whole body and like
Yeah,
all of your
you're
senses.
feeling it.
Yeah.
You're feeling it. And I think that that can unlock things. And so no, I think that even after, even after you forget, the things that have happened have locked themselves into your soul, and there's a piece of you that'll
Right.
always remember the important parts. I think. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I would like to believe.
I agree. I feel like their love, like it went through the test of time. Like he loved her
Yeah.
like for 80 years, and his love, it didn't seem like it ever wavered. And even though we didn't see her love for him, we could still feel that it was there.
Yeah.
And if the love that you have for someone can break through dementia, even just for a moment,
Yeah.
then you know it's real. And I think that's what we all want,
You
you
know,
know?
I read something in the New York Times recently. I wish I could remember the actual phrase for it, but it was like a long it was about a long-term study. Um, that looked at people. It was like spontaneous something, but it was people with dementia who'd had dementia for many years. And in the weeks before they died, there were these inexplicable moments of clarity that like defied
Mhm.
everything scientists thought they knew about memory loss and how the brain works. Um, but it was like these people just a few weeks before they died, like came back for a period of time as a full version of themselves with memories intact, which tells me that A, the brain's much more mysterious than we understand, but B, those memories are always there. It's just they get buried and tangled and confused. But these cases of people spontaneously surfacing as themselves, um, toward the end, it's really inspiring to me because I think it means they're never really gone, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
We have,
that makes me
oh,
wonder too, Kristen. I'm sorry. Did you have? I'm going rogue. Did you do a lot of research in that area of
Of
dementia?
Alzheimer's, I
Yeah,
did, but a lot of it had been done previously because I've written books before with characters with dementia and
yeah.
Alzheimer's, including The Sweetness of Forgetting, which really touched on it. Um, but that was because I've had several family members that we lost that way. So some of the research was just personal experience, and some of it was how the brain works. I wish I could think. I'm actually going to look it up on my phone. I wish I could remember the name of sorry, if you will bear with me for 1 second, I think I can tell you exactly what the
No, that's okay.
New York Times thing said. It's called terminal lucidity. It's in the article in the Times was the
Ah,
strange phenomenon of terminal lucidity, meaning that just before you die, you have this burst of lucidity, which I think is absolutely
wow.
fascinating.
That
Yeah.
is fascinating.
that is, but it does give. It's interesting because I think that does just as it did Henry, it gives the family some sense that that
Yeah.
person is still in there
Yes,
that
Yeah.
absolutely.
they loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, I just want to share there's so much love in the chat for the concert scene. Everyone loved it. They're talking about
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
And one of our book friends, Edie, says that love is in the DNA. And I
Oh,
think that's so sweet. Yeah.
it's true. Yep, we are biologically hardwired to love. That is true. Yep.
Mm, yeah.
So
Oh,
did you have another? Oh, I thought you had another comment,
I just
Lisa.
said, oh.
I know, I love it. Well, if you'll indulge me for a minute, Kristen, I would like to kind of go back to your process again and what you were talking about, your love actually model.
Yeah.
Because I have to ask, there were so many stories and they were so intertwined, not only emotionally, but geographically and physically. How did you keep track of them? Did you have this giant chart on your wall with the city laid out
I,
and where
I
people were
Like a
intersecting?
I
like a
didn't.
character board.
The stories all
Yeah.
intersected in places that were very familiar and meaningful to me. So every place you read about in this novel was either an actual place that meant something to me and that I spent a lot of time in, or a fictionalization of an actual place. So, like for instance, the bar Le Maison Grog was a fictionalization of a bar called the Long Hop. Just because I needed it needed to be an Australian bar, and like yeah, I couldn't base it on the or I couldn't have it be the actual real one. Um, but when their lives were intertwining, it was places I already felt very familiar with, and it was it wasn't like I was writing about a place I didn't know, or even a place in the past that would have felt different. This is like a place I'm intimately familiar with and have been intimately
Mm.
familiar with for 20 plus years. So I think that geographically moving people around wasn't as much of a challenge as you would think. And it was aided by going to France and kind of walking in the footsteps of those characters and being like, okay, this person's going to be here. And, like for instance, I wasn't entirely clear on where Melanie lived and therefore where Henry stayed and therefore where Celeste's assisted living home was. So when I went to Paris for research, I walked the neighborhood that I knew it was going to be until I found a street that I was like, this makes sense. Celeste's home can be over there. This is walking distance to the other places Henry needs to go. So having my feet on the ground there, I think really helped clarify some of that too. But in terms of the way the actual stories wove together, aside from the geographic weaving, it really was very much based on Love Actually. I mean, I really sat down and said, like, okay, like here's all the times that we see the Hugh Grant storyline in Love Actually. Like what can I match that to in mine? Maybe that's the Jackson Quick storyline.
Mhm.
Here's the Liam Neeson storyline, and maybe that can match to the Julia story. Like, I kind of tried to sort of figure out which ones of mine could overlay the ones of Love Actually. And then I looked at how they all wove together and
Mm.
worked kind of backwards from that, and then added in, changed things around a little bit, added in things, but like it really did start with that. So, because I think it's brilliantly written, and anyone who's seen Love Actually, I think would probably agree that the way that story weaves together is just so well done. Like it feels like one
Yeah.
complete story rather than a whole bunch of separate little stories that add up to one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tonight we really only touched on a few of the characters
I
in the book,
know.
but I did want to ask you, especially in light of the discussions about being a series, if you could sit down with one of your major characters a year after this novel takes place, whose life would you want to check in on?
Piper. I think I'd want to know how Piper's doing.
Yeah.
Like in theory, in the book, a year from now, her mom wouldn't still be here. Um, but I'd like to think that she still has a really warm relationship with Jackson. I'd
Yeah.
like to think that Nicola is still a part of her life. And I would like to see her coming into her own because I think that she's put a lot of her own needs and wants and development and growth to the side um, to help her mom, which is because she's a great person and she's trying to do the right thing. But like, I would like to see her have the courage and the faith to say like, okay, like now who do I want to be? So yeah, I think I'd like to check in with Julia.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
I'm going a little rogue here myself, but would you consider a sequel or novella? I always like to throw in novella to Meet Me in Paris so that we can check in with these characters that we've grown to love so much.
So I'm not big on sequels, so probably not as a book, but again, in talking about it as a series, I could see the possibility if we do decide to do it that way, where like the next season is Meet Me in Madrid, for example, and we carry forward about half the cast, I could see the possibility that in order to provide the basis for that second season, maybe I would write the second book. And then I think the storylines that I would continue would be Russ and Shelby, um, Henry McGee,
Mm.
but without Celeste, um,
Yeah.
Julia and Jackson, because in the series, Julia would have another shot, um, and Piper as she faces new beginnings. So I think those are the ones I would take to the next chapter.
Love it.
Ah. Like I feel like some of the others, like Lou and George, I feel like that story kind of had its arc. I feel like
Yeah.
Kayla and Nadeem, that story kind of had
Yeah.
its
I loved
Although,
Kayla.
although I have to say, I would like to check in on Kayla just to make sure she got over her father being such a weasel.
Yeah. I was
Oh.
wondering what word you were going to choose.
Weasel was good. Weasel was a
That
good
was a
one.
good one.
Yeah.
I can't believe how fast time is going. Okay, I definitely want to
No,
make
I know.
sure. I know we want to just bubble wrap Kristen and keep her with us forever, but we can't. So I want to make sure that we ask this question because in the author's note, you mentioned how important it is to continue funding research for cancer
Yeah.
treatments.
Yep.
So, how can people help? How can we help? What organizations do you support?
So the problem right now is that funding for cancer research, along with funding for a lot of other medical research, has been pretty severely impacted. And if we don't have research, if we don't have new studies coming down the pipeline, um, people are going to keep dying from these diseases that we should be able to see a way to cure, right? Personally, I support the Susan G. Komen Foundation for breast cancer. So that provides money for research, but it also provides money for outreach and education, as well as support for people who can't pay for their own mammograms and things like that. So I feel like they kind of attack the issue of breast cancer from all sides. I also support the American Cancer Society. I'm specifically involved with the breast cancer walks that are done throughout the country for the American Cancer Society, which specifically raises money for breast cancer. But I do think that the American Cancer Society is a really, really, really great place to put your money if you want to see developments in cancer research in the future.
Okay.
And then earlier.org is an organization that Friends in Fiction has been involved with. I believe, they're North Carolina based. And they are working on developing tests for earlier breast cancer detection, which I think is important too, because the earlier you can detect cancer, the more effective the treatment can be. So I think those are three, but there are lots of amazing organizations. So I would just say if you're thinking about donating, those are three good ones, but also do your research. And if there's a particular cancer you care about because it's affected somebody in your life, there should be an organization that can help with that, or just the American Cancer Society. I think it's a really good catch-all.
Thank you. We wanted to make sure that we
I'm glad
got
you.
that so
Thank you.
people can donate and get involved
Thank you.
and get
Thanks for
your
asking.
mammogram,
Yes.
get your checks, get
What's
all
that?
your, I said, and get your mammogram and get your annual
Yes.
checks
All the
and
things, get
all
your
the things.
colonoscopy, all the things.
Yep.
None of them are fun, but like
All the
they'll
unpleasant
save your
things.
life.
Yes.
Save your life. Yeah, all
Yeah.
the things. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Kristen, it's getting close to our closing, but we can't let you go without asking you a few more things.
Sure.
First of all, could you share with our readers what are you working on now?
So I have a book coming in 2028. It is coming out of me very, very slowly, but that is because it encompasses three time periods. So it's not like a back and forth in time thing. It's like literally like it starts in the year 1900 and goes to the year 1945. But
Wow.
it includes the Titanic, the sinking of the Titanic,
Ooh,
um, spycraft in World War One, and the D-Day landings in World War Two. So it's like three
Wow.
historical events,
wow.
one character who lives through them all. So
Oh my
that's what
goodness.
I'm on, and I wish I was working on it more quickly, as I'm sure my publisher wishes I was working on it more quickly.
Well, you've been a little busy.
I mean
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like book tour really derails you. Like you think like, oh, it's just a couple of weeks, but like it's not. It's all the lead up to it, all the planning, all that you have to write your speech, you have to plan everything. There's a million meetings. Like it just takes up so much brain space that I think it really took me away from this book for a long time. But my goal before I left for book tour was to sink the Titanic, and I did that. So the Titanic is um, now we're in World War One, and now I just have to keep going.
Okay.
Spoiler
Milestone
alert.
check.
Spoiler alert. The boat goes down.
So goes down. Sorry, I couldn't change that. Sorry.
Oh, that's so funny.
One thing that we want to ask, because we get this asked a lot, if someone wants to get a signed copy of this gem or any of your books, what would be the best way for someone to get a signed copy?
So Writer's Block Bookstore, which is in the Orlando suburb of Winter Park, Florida. Right, it's called, I think their website is writersblockbookstore.com. They have signed copies of most of my books, including Meet Me in Paris. In fact, we had some last minute personalization requests come in, and one of the booksellers is dropping by my house tomorrow morning for me to like personalize
Wow.
the books. So yeah,
Yay.
they're pretty good. I drop in there pretty often to sign stuff.
Awesome. Well,
That's
thank you so
nice.
much for joining us.
I
We love
know.
it when
Oh,
you're
you know what
here.
I should also add about personalizations? I still do have, I've got two like the events I mentioned in Margate City, New Jersey and Council Bluffs, Iowa. But then the last weekend in August, the 29th and 30th, I'm doing Oxford Exchange, which is where,
Oh,
where the
yay.
Friends and Fiction subscription box comes from, and Tombolo Books in St. Petersburg, Florida. So I'm doing both of those events the last weekend in August. So if anybody wants
Nice.
personalization, I bet you could call either of those two stores because I will physically be there to sign books, and I would be happy to personalize a book at the same time. So Tombolo or Oxford
Yay.
by August 28th. You could probably order that. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
I
no. And then if you're there, if you're in those areas, you can go see Kristen.
yeah, it'll be
That's
fun. One of
right.
them's the Tombolo one is on the Saturday the 29th. I think it's the 29th. With whatever that Saturday is with Lisa Unger, and then the one on Sunday is with Sarah Penner. So they'll at Oxford.
Oh, fun.
Really
That's a
fun.
really
That's
nice
gonna be
event.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love them both. So that's going to be great. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
we are
Kristen,
just so grateful that you're here. We love you so much. And we
Yes.
know
Oh, thank
our
you.
book club, we would not be here if it was not for you and Brenda,
that's
you
right.
two masterminds over here. So thank you.
Well, you guys have
Thank
grown
you so
so from
much.
you guys have grown it from a little idea and a little tiny group to the enormous, super engaged group that it is today. So thank you for all the
Oh,
work for the Friends
thank
of
you.
Fiction Official Book Club with Brenda and Lisa. You guys have done such a great job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so
We
much,
love you.
Kristen. It was so much fun spending the evening with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me hold mine up.
My little book dance.
Woo. Thank you,
Oh.
everybody. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Kristen.
Good night.
Night,
Good
everybody.
night.
See you.
Oh,
Oh,
I love her so much.
I know.
It was so much fun. It went by way too. I knew it was going to go by too fast. It always does, but
I know we didn't even get to some of the other interests. She has so many interesting characters in this book.
I know we really could add a part. But oh, I think this would be a really good TV series. Like it would be so good because sometimes books, like oh, it should be a movie or this, but a series like each episode. I mean, you can really dive into the details of the book when you have more time. Trying to squish it into an hour and a half or 2 hours in a movie with something this rich would you would lose a lot of the story that's so great. So I
I
would
know
love to see it be a TV series. That would be amazing.
it would be, and it would take advantage of her, I don't know, character development, because even the minor characters
Yes.
felt to me fully fleshed out,
Yes.
which I don't
Yes.
really know how she does that, but that's why
I
she's the
know.
author.
That's why she's Kristin Harmel, the
That's
one who can
right.
do it all.
That's right.
So
Well,
good.
before everyone goes, we have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, this month
We're
and next
we're
month.
busy. We're booked and busy, and we like it like that.
Booked and busy. I like it. So, first of all, we have our happy hour on August 27th, where we'll announce our October, November, and December book club picks. And
Yeah, we're
Lisa
gonna
is
do
just dancing
that.
over there with glee.
We're gonna do that, but what we're really gonna do, Brenda doesn't know because it's her birthday the next day. And we're also going to be toasting to 6 years of this book club that we have. Can you believe it?
No, I cannot. It seems
But
like we just did that 5 year anniversary that was just so
I
amazing in
know,
Atlanta.
I know.
And I'm
And
seeing
now
the
we're
pictures from that weekend.
all the memories are coming because it's been a year. So we're celebrating 6 years. We'll do a little toast. We're not going to harp on that the whole time, but we'll definitely do a toast. And there will be a special guest, or you never know. Brenda doesn't know, but me and
No,
Ron
Brenda
do.
does not know.
I don't
And
know.
I know better than to ask because I'm going to be told none of your business.
Yep, none of your business will be joining us live. So that's going to be fun. And then we also, for this month, we have our reading challenge that's still going on. And this month, the book is inspired by a childhood favorite. So there's still time to jump on that train.
Yeah, I just finished mine this morning.
Good for you. I haven't started mine yet. It's on hold on Libby, so I'm hoping it'll come available.
Well, hopefully before the end of the month. But that's okay.
If
And
not,
then
I'll
in
rekick.
September, and then we have another bookish banter on tap for September 18th at 8 o'clock Eastern. Our bookish banter is a non-streaming hour where members of the admin team get on a Zoom with book club members, and we generally have a theme for the night, and we just chat and have fun and enjoy the love of reading.
Yep. And Allison's going to be hosting the one on September 18th. So you can find it on the events tab and probably a little bit the week of. We'll put the Zoom link in for you to register for the Zoom and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a good time. So put that on your calendar. Yay.
And
Yeah.
Lisa, why don't you tell them about our September book club pick?
Our September book pick. Actually have it right here. How to
And
Fake
I
a
have the graphic.
Salesman. Such a cute cover. And it's going to be on September 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm excited to talk about this with Myra Cuevas and Marie Marquardt. Marquardt. I probably said it wrong, but
Yes, I want to talk to them about this cover. It's so cute.
it's adorable. And I mean, so this description of, I mean, I can't get over this library journal description of it, right? It says, This gender-flipped My Fair Lady retelling is a rollicking rom-com featuring a thrilling heist storyline and a keen exploration of class, race, and gender.
Woohoo!
Fun! I know, it sounds so good. So we'll be discussing that, Jim. And we can't tell you October yet, but we'll tell you at happy hour. So make sure you
Happy
tune
hour.
in. And we also want to mention that um, we have our Buy Me a Coffee, which is where if you'd like to donate to us to help us with things like shipping and giveaways, running the show, Zoom, all the things. Brenda and I typically foot the bill for these things. So if you like our content, feel free to donate. We did $5 for 5 years last year. So I guess now if you want to donate $6 for 6 years, please feel free. But any donation is greatly appreciated. And we want to thank everyone who has donated this far. We truly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I also want
And
to give a shout out to our amazing admin team,
yes,
who we could not do anything if it wasn't for them. So thanks to Lisette and Amber and Molly and Allison.
yes, thanks so much. They are doing so much behind the scenes and just helping
Yeah,
out in really big ways. So thank you very much.
yeah.
And then just one more quick announcement. Our bonfire store is up 24/7 now, and Lisa's about to model
I mean,
something on.
I should I miss my calling, PB. I should totally be.
I think you did.
No, yes.
Yeah, I
I
think
love
that looks
the hat.
excellent.
My hair is fluffy, but the hat's
So
cute.
go to our bonfire store for hats, happy hour shirts, regular book club shirts, wine tumblers, and tote bags.
Oh yeah, we have all the things. It's 24/7 now, so you can order whenever you like. We've got some fun things. So, thanks for joining us tonight. Brenda, you look like you're about to say something. What were you
Oh
gonna
no,
say? Oh,
no, go ahead.
I was like, "Uh-oh, what's she gonna say?"
Oh, I
Oh,
was just going to say what you were saying. Thanks for
oh,
joining us and for another book club and happy reading.
happy reading and PB and J out.